I want to take a minute or two to testify because this is really important. I know you may be tired of hearing about my accident, the motorcycle accident, but I don't know that I've actually gone into great detail of what happened that day. And so I wanted to, and I feel really led to do this. So I want to share with you exactly the blessings of the details of that day. Um, I was on my way back from a wedding. I was officiating a wedding, and the wedding, it was summertime. It was June, I think. And so I took the motorcycle, gas prices, and it was a good distance. And like I said, it was June. So it was appropriate. And it had been bouncing that day a little bit, but I didn't think it to be anything concerning, I guess. And anyway, on the way home, like I said, it had been bouncing, and the road was just horrid on the way home. It just seemed like it was worse than I remembered it ever being. And this is a wooded area, just a 2-lane wooded area, very remote. No house. I mean, houses are few and far between. No cell service. And I was going pretty slow. I was going maybe 40, 45 at the most. But I popped over this hill, and there was just this big pothole. And I guess it hit my tire hit it, and it put me into what they call a death wobble, and it threw me. The motorcycle threw me into the middle of the highway, and I just started rolling down that hill, and several times. And I remember, and I told my father this. I said I remember actually thinking while I was rolling, um, I can remember thinking, so this is how I'm gonna die, because I didn't wear a helmet that day. Um, and the reason I didn't is because it's stupid. Because I was officiating a wedding, and I didn't want my hair all really messed up, and the wind would mess it up anyway, and so it was just dumb. I should have worn a helmet, but I didn't. So I'm tumbling down the highway, and I finally stop, and I pop right back up. How? Grace of God. I later find out that my wrist is completely shattered. I mean, the doctor said that it was just looked like a grenade had gone off in there. All the bones were just gone, and but I popped back up, and I was covered in, I was bleeding, covered in scars or wounds at the time, covered in wounds, but I popped back up immediately. And by the grace of God, I was able to pick the motorcycle up, shattered arm, just been thrown and rolled down a hill, but I picked the motorcycle up, got it out of the road, and I tried to make a phone call. Now, you think about all of what just I said. I mean, I was thrown from a motorcycle at 45, 40 miles an hour, and now I'm up and moved the motorcycle out of the road with no helmet on, and I'm trying to make a phone call. You can't tell me that's not God's grace. You can't tell me God didn't protect me that day. But there's a lot more to it, and I'm going to get into it. So I'm trying to make a phone call, Nothing. There's no cell service anywhere. And like I said, it's a remote, very remote road. Um, so I waited a few minutes because like I said, I was bleeding. There was just wounds, road rash, my arm shattered, the wrist and all up to, well, I'll show you. Um, it halfway up my arm was just shattered, and my hand, my finger as well. But, and I was just waiting because I was just obviously in some pain, and nobody came. There wasn't a single car. So I took to walking, and anybody that knows me knows I can't walk well. I can't. At the time, I was using a cane, which I had fastened onto the motorcycle by a device, and I didn't even have to use it because I just took off walking, trying to find some help because I knew that I needed help, but I didn't know how I was actually going to get help because there was nobody around. Just so remote. And eventually I came upon this park, this little bitty park, and like I said, out in the middle of nowhere, and there was one car I saw right at the beginning of the park, and there was a lady and a man and a little bitty baby that was walking towards their car while I was walking into the park, and my first thought was, this is going to go over well. We're out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm bleeding. I look something like out of a horror movie, and I'm going to approach them and ask them for their cell phone, or if, to see if they can call someone. And so I did, and they were the absolute sweetest people I've met. I mean, they were so nice, and they didn't have any service either, though. So I went over and I sat on the stairs while they went and tried to get some service. Wasn't really successful in being able to make a call or get any response from making a call. And so they loaded me up, took me to go meet my parents, and finally got a hold of my parents, and they took me to go meet my parents and drove me all the way there, and just super nice people. And the blessings that they were there at the right time that I needed them to be. I mean, they were walking towards their car while I was walking into the park. That was a blessing in itself. I mean, that was the grace of God. God put them in that spot at that time for me. And just the right people, because they were, like I said, the absolute most wonderful people. And so kind. So kind. And anyway, they take me to the hospital, covered in blood and just a mess. Just everything, just pain, just shattered, road rash everywhere. But there was this old man. Now, before I go on about the hospital part, but there was an old man that had seen the motorcycle laid down and seen the accident scene, and so he thought maybe I had went in the woods, and he went out after me. Now, apparently, at some point, I didn't even realize it because of everything that was going on, but my glasses had flew off of my face, and I didn't even realize it because, adrenaline, it was the last thing I was thinking about. So anyway, this old man was walking through the woods, and he came upon a pair of glasses, and I don't remember what he said he thought it was, but he picked it up, and they were just, let me grab them here. They were just folded like that, just sitting there in the brush. They flew off my face all the way in the woods, and they were under some leaves, and they were just sitting there like that. Flawless. Not a scratch on them. Grace of God. I didn't think I'd ever see them again after I realized that they were missing. But, grace of God. And so, back to the hospital, they run all these tests, and eventually they just, they tell me the wounds and taking care of them, and, obviously my wrist / arm, and all of this, and eventually I had to go and get surgery on the wrist / arm. They put in a plate and 8 screws, and did surgery also on my finger at the same time, and it took about 3 months to heal, and I still don't have very much use of it. I can't maneuver it in very many ways. It's just, I told the doctor it's just useless, and he told me that it was going to be that way. But I'm alive, and I'm thankful for that, because I feel like when I flew off of that motorcycle that day, that my life was, that I was trying to be killed, so to speak, by the devil. I felt like the devil was just trying to take me out, end my life that day. But God had a different plan. God said no. He's my child. I'm protecting him. I'm taking care of him, and I'm not going to allow it to happen. And regardless of, I'm still covered in scars. It's 7-8 months later, and I've still got scars everywhere that are not going to go away. But I'm alive, and I have this wonderful testimony about how God protected me, God saved me, God took, he had an angel around me. He had to that day, because to be able to walk away from that, pop back up after getting thrown from the motorcycle with no helmet on, and being able to still be alive. It's incredible. I'm telling you. I mean, you may not want to be hearing about the motorcycle accident all the time. I don't know how much I mention it because I have OCD, and I don't really understand sometimes how much I say things. But this is a testimony, the full testimony of what happened that day. This is a full testimony of what God was doing that day. The devil tried to kill me that day. I am convinced of that 100%. But I know that God protected me that day. He kept me around for whatever he has for me. And my job is just simple: to try to serve him the best way I know how. To tell people that, regardless of what you've got going on in your life, no matter how many times you get thrown from the motorcycle, you get back up. You may have a few scars. I mean, honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't like looking at it. It's disgusting looking. It's nasty. And the arm and wrist and different scars in the body, it's just, the arm and wrist is useless, but the different scars, it's just all gross looking. And I don't like to look at it, but it's also a very good reminder of what could have happened and what didn't happen. Grace of God. I don't even like talking about it because I feel like, one of them people that, oh, that's all they're going to talk about. That's all they're going to talk about. And I'm sorry if that's the way I'm in the impression that I'm leaving, but I don't mean to. I just, I know what happened, and um, I know how protected I was that day. I could have. I'm not being rude or disrespectful by any means. Please understand this. But people have died from a lot less as far as motorcycle accidents, and with helmets on even. You could easily break your neck. You can, you can easily succumb to a lot of different injuries that are very life threatening. Somehow I got back up. I thank the Lord today. If you don't think that God still performs miracles, look at this. They were slung from my face, landed in the forest, and they still don't have a scratch on them. Well, they probably have a scratch on them by now. That's just because I'm a guy, I guess. But you get the point. I mean, how wonderful God is to us. How gracious He really is. Don't give up on the Lord just because something happens. Just because you get bucked off of the motorcycle. Get back up. Keep getting back up. Keep serving God. Look at the bright side of it. The fact that you're still alive. The fact that you have all these different things going for you. I mean, I could have easily fell into a deep hole of depression. The motorcycle's totaled, and just completely totaled. And then I had, all these wounds and hospital visits, and I mean, going to Hot Springs all the time, which is 2-3 hours away or something like that, and driving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, hospital stay, the hospital surgeries, and it's just a mess. I could have easily fell into a dark depression because of it. But God kept my spirits up because I knew that God had blessed me and protected me that day. I don't want to go on too much longer. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. This is really important to me because, when God saves your life and loves you so much to bring an angel down, that I honestly believe happened, that to protect me, because otherwise my head would have just hit the pavement and I'd been dead. But I honestly believe the Lord protected me. He sent an angel. However He did it. All I know is He did it. And I'm so thankful. So thankful. Give the Lord all the praise today. I'm telling you, we are such blessed people. Such blessed people. God bless you. I love each and every one of you. Y'all take care. Be nice to one another. I say this a lot, but we are just so mean to each other sometimes. No doubt. I mean, we are just... Come on, people. Quit being so rude. Quit being so mean. Spread the love of God. We're supposed to be Christians. And we are so unkind. We look at people and see them with a problem and we think, oh, well, that's their problem, not mine. What do you want me to do about it? Where's the love of God? Where's just general niceness? Come on. Be kind. Be nice. Just love one another. Show the love of God. No wonder people are turning away from God, because people are being so mean. The church people are just being mean. people in general are just being mean. All honesty, before I turn off this camera thingy here, if I was, not in Christ right now, and I seen the way some of the church people were acting, I wouldn't want to get saved either. I mean, because of the way they're the mean spirited of them. I wouldn't want to be saved. Well, if that's how they act from serving God, well, I don't want to serve Him then, because I don't want to be that mean. I don't want to be that ugly. Some sinners are not a lot nicer than Christians are, and that is sad. I love you guys. Be nice. Spread the love of God. Share the testimony. Share this video. I don't ask very many times to share a video, but this testimony shows how God protects us and saves us and keeps us in perfect peace. And so share this. Please, please share it. Let people know God's still on the throne. Love you. God bless you. Remember, all you have to do is call upon the name of the Lord anytime, any place, and He is right there for you.